down to Veteran Square, make another right, and in a couple blocks we'll find ourselves on the Courthouse of Delaware County steps. And there we have some speakers, and we would love to hear from you too. All right, so here we go. Make any noise you want. Anybody who wants to dance, let's see it happen. Let's go. Thank you so much for coming to stand for democracy and stand for the Women's March and stand for all the things, the signs that you have. Yay! And thank you to Kendall for lending me his upgrade. Because mine wasn't up to the task, and we are up to the task. We are. We care, we mobilize, we vote. And we will continue to stand up no matter what. We'll keep on going, we'll keep on mobilizing, and we'll stay together as a democracy and a republic. I signed up with Women's March 2020, and a lot of people signed up through that. Then I think my friend Mary Beth brought some Move On people, and no, she didn't. And Kayla.
That's just media people. I brought media people.
Oh, media people. And Kayla brought the Delaware County Youth Education Alliance. Woo! I would say that she is our future, but she's not. She is our present. And so are we all. I saw somebody had a sign that said, I'm doing this for my grandchildren. Yes! So we have a slate of speakers, and when they are through, I want to hear what you have to say. So I'm going to turn this over to Kayla, and she will introduce our speakers.
Hey everybody. I want to thank every single person for coming out today. I know it was a little confusing about the mixture of the two elementary schools, so I'm sorry about that, everybody. Young kids, I'm not really good at directions. So I want to thank, of course, every single person coming out today. I think all your signs look absolutely amazing. And I really just want to thank from the bottom of my heart and RBGs for making a change today. I don't want to talk too much because I believe the voice is not in one woman, it's in women. So the first person I would like to call to talk to you today is my friend, State Representative Leanne Kruger.
Hello, everybody. What a beautiful sight and what a beautiful Saturday here in Delaware County. So how many of you marched 4 years ago? I did too. So in January of 2017, I had only been elected to the State House a couple months before, and I've got a lot of new friends now, folks like the amazing Jennifer O'Mara, who you'll hear from in a minute, and a whole lot of Democratic women who joined us in 2018. But I have to tell you folks, back in 2016, it was pretty lonely. And when I marched in Washington, along with thousands and thousands and thousands of other women, it made me feel less alone. Did anyone else have that experience? And it has been thanks to the women who marched, people who have been doing this for a really long time, and those of us who got activated more recently, that we have been able to bring about amazing, amazing change. In 2018, we elected a record, flipped a record 14 seats in the State House, including 3 here in Delaware County. And last year, so many of you were a part of the effort to flip this courthouse for the first time since Civil War. And we are onward to more change, folks. And for me, electing more Democrats in Harrisburg isn't just about power. It's about the bills and the issues we can advance when we've got the power to run the bills. Things like expanding and protecting access to health care. Things like finally blocking the unconstitutional abortion bans that we've got to fight every single year in Harrisburg. Standing up for protections for our LGBTQ brothers and sisters. Protecting labor rights. And making sure that the fracking companies in Harrisburg aren't making the rules about what happens to our air and water. So that is why I fight for change, and that's why I'm helping to elect more allies up and down the ballot. It's the vision for change and the values we share, and finally being able to do good things in our state capitol instead of fighting bad things. So thank you for your activism. We have less than 3 weeks before Election Day.
If you're to flip, Lynn.
9 seats for the State House, 4 to tie the State Senate, 5 to flip.
And how many seats are in this right now?
So all of them. We can win all of them. But here in Delaware County, we need to make sure that our folks like Jen O'Mara and Dave DeLoso and Mike Zabel come back. And Deb Siamaka is running to flip a seat right here. And John Andrews is running to flip a seat in the State House just a little west of here. And John Kane is running to be the next state senator. So those are the people who I'm putting my energy behind for the next 16 days or so, and I hope you will do the same. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much. Kayla is an amazing organizer. I'm particularly grateful to the youth and folks from Delco Resist who I know supported this event. It means a lot. You are an essential part of our movement. So thank you, Kayla. I'll turn the mic back over to you.
Sorry about that. I was a little confused. I thought she didn't like my glasses for a minute. So we have some very, very nice pink black glasses. If you have noticed that you cannot see me by any chance, please come to collect your glasses so you can see me and other women better.
I'll hold them.
Now the next person we are going to see or not see today is going to be another friend of mine, State Representative Jen O'Mara.
Hello everyone, it is so good to see all of you. I keep saying I miss people, so I know we're far apart and we're wearing masks, but it's so good to be together. We are 17 days away from the election of our lifetimes. And I'd like to take a minute to reflect, even if it's just about where I came from. So I'd like to thank Donald Trump for getting elected. If it wasn't for him, I would have never run for office. I decided to run 3 months after we marched in January 2017. And I ran a historic campaign in a district that hadn't been represented ever by a female Democrat, and not by a Democrat in 40 years since Nixon was impeached. And I didn't know if I was going to win or not. But I wanted to show, at the time I was a grad student working full time, I wanted to show working people, women, people of color, young people, people who are historically left out of the political process, that you do not have to be a spectator. And with the support of a lot of people here, I won by 530 votes. It is literally proof that every single vote matters, and every single vote you're going to turn out for me in this election, or Leanne, or Dave DeLoso at the state rep level, is going right up the ticket to help Joe Biden. Because we have to fix this country from the State House to the White House. And, yep, we do. And you know, in Harrisburg, for the first 12 months, I was asked whose secretary or intern I was, because I was the youngest woman serving in the House. And they were so used to us not being in a position of power. With all of your help, we're going to change that. Because we need to send more women to Harrisburg. When Deb Maka gets elected for this district, she's going to be the first woman to ever represent this district. That's amazing. And the last thing I want to say is I'm wearing a mask of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And I know we are here today because of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And she put everything on the line for us. Up until her last breath, she fought for democracy, for justice, for equality for all. And it's our job now to continue that fight for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And if we know there's a very, very good chance the Supreme Court is going to change to a 6-3 super conservative majority, all of our rights are going to be protected in Harrisburg. When it comes to our rights as women, when it comes to the environment, when it comes to campaign finance laws, everything that's impacting our democracy is going to be protected in Harrisburg. So remember, when you're getting out to vote, tell people to vote from the bottom up, because we need to fix things, like I said, from the State House to the White House. Thank you all.
So, my next person that I would like to call up to the stage is the people that we wouldn't be here without. It's the Women Who Vote, the League of Women Voters. So I would like to welcome Jordine Hayberry up to the stage.
So, I don't know if you realize this, but 2020 is the 100th birthday, the anniversary of women winning. It wasn't given to us, we won the right to vote. And as a representative of the league, I can't take sides for a party or a candidate, but what we do relentlessly, here we are 100 years later, fighting for everybody's right to vote. So I just wanted to say a few words about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Catch my breath. In 1956, when... Take your mask off, you're way up there. I know, but I don't want to contaminate the... She's got wipes. Kayla's got wipes. She's got everything. In 1956, when Ruth enrolled in the Harvard Law School, she went to she was one of 9 women in a class of 500 men. And the dean of the law school invited the women over to his house for dinner. And he asked each one of them to say, why are you at Harvard Law taking the place of a man? Now, she didn't have a real good answer for it at the time, but she has been fighting, she fought the whole rest of her life to answer that question. And can you imagine being asked that today in college or at a job, to be asked that question? Why are you here and taking the place of a man?
it's because of her that we don't hear that question anymore. After she graduated from Columbia Law School, she couldn't get a job, even though she graduated number one at the top of her class. Then she was hired. She was hired as a law clerk, and then she was hired as an adjunct professor at Rutgers in 1963. I went to Rutgers myself, and she was informed at the time that she would be paid less than her male colleagues because her husband had a good-paying job. And then she got pregnant, and she was afraid that her contract would not be renewed because if her pregnancy showed. So she wore baggy clothes till the end of the spring semester and had her son in between semesters. So Ruth didn't just fight for equality, she lived the discrimination that women faced back then. She was a founder of the Women's Rights Project for the ACLU, and for 8 years she brought cases to advance women's equality. And so when we think about women's rights today, we mainly think about abortion. That's because Ruth has taken care of so much of the rest of it. She either brought cases or made rulings on pregnancy rights in the workplace, women serving on juries, Social Security benefits, equal pay for equal work, the right of women to attend all male state-supported military academies, the right to serve in traditional male jobs, firefighter, police, lawyer, Secretary of State, the right of same-sex couples to marry, and yes, the right to abortion, the right of girls to play sports, receive equal educations, and be free of sexual harassment in schools and the workplace. So while other women were fighting in the streets and schools and offices, Ruth's successes in the courts changed all of our lives for the better, and we owe her so much.
So right now we have finished up our lineup today. Thank you for listening to that, because the voices of women, as you may know, aren't usually heard. So thank you to our lineup who came out today to speak for us. But now I want to open it up to any woman or any woman ally in the crowd who would like to say a few words. Hi.
My name is Taylor Diane on Facebook, or Taylor Kowalski is my government. I wanted to share a story today for one of my best friends. This year, one of my best friends became pregnant. It was unexpected but extremely welcomed, and her partner were over the moon about having their baby. Being that it was in the midst of COVID, appointments weren't regular for her. We had a gender reveal party early. We knew that they were having a baby girl, and they chose the name Arya after Game of Thrones, because Arya is a truly badass woman, right? So, at my friend Casey's 20-week appointment, they were made aware that baby Arya had congenital regression syndrome, and that their baby girl would not be able to live outside of the womb. My friend was unemployed at the time due to the pandemic, and she was on state insurance. The male doctor was extremely cold and basically told her, "I'm sorry, but your baby is not viable." My friend was not in danger of losing her life due to this pregnancy, and her baby was still living, but would not have survived outside of her body. So at 20 weeks, my friend was forced to make the decision to have a late-term abortion. This was an extremely hard decision for her and her partner, but there was no other option. In Pennsylvania, I believe that you have to terminate a pregnancy by 21 to 22 weeks. In New Jersey, it's a bit later. My friend was informed that this procedure would not be covered by her insurance and that it would cost $4,000 in the midst of a pandemic while she was unemployed, while her insurance came from our state. My friend had to go to New Jersey and start the process of labor, which eventually ended in losing her child. This is a story of late-term abortion. This is what late-term abortion is. Aria had a loving family, has a loving family, loving mother and father. She had a nursery, and she had a ton of aunts and uncles that were ready to welcome her into the world. Unfortunately, God had another plan. I need people to realize that when we talk about abortion rights, this is what we are talking about. I hope that somebody learned something today, because I have certainly learned a lot through my friend's process of losing her child. And I hope that we treat women with more compassion, because things aren't so black and white. Thank you.
I want to open it up to a few more people who would like to talk. You can come up.
Hello there, everyone. Just first of all, make sure y'all can hear me, right? Yep. Okay, good. So my name is Christian, and obviously I am a man, but I am here today for one reason, and it's because I come from another group that has always felt crushing and has found one of the greatest allies in women. I am gay, and gay men have always found an ally in women. As my mother will say, gay men are some of the best people to be around. And another reason I'm here is because I'm a big old history nut. And everyone typically thinks of history, it's just a bunch of old white men doing stuff that affects people that are not old white men. Just look at American history. That's been about 44 out of 45 presidents. And, well, I guess 43 if we don't count Orange as a white. But something I've learned from history is that at the root of a lot of badass causes are badass women. And that women do a lot more than men do. Such as down right here, on this sign right here, is someone who you don't hear a lot about. Her name's Emma Goldman. She was a labor activist. She fought for the rights of workers. But more importantly, she fought for the rights of women as one of the first in the time advocates for birth control. This woman in the 1910s, 1920s was saying we should be allowed, we shouldn't have to fear this. Let's have birth control. Let's have something that protects women and has their rights and their bodies as their own choice. She put everything on the line for that. She fought for everyone, no matter their creed. Another woman, Queen Liliuokalani of Hawaii. She stayed Queen of Hawaii even as the U.S. came in. She said, I'm not abandoning my people, and everything that we see as Hawaii today, you can thank Liliuokalani for that. That's another badass woman. And of course, right down here, Frances Perkins, the first labor secretary who was a woman, and the first female labor, and the first female secretary, period. She came from a nice upper class house. She could have done anything. She didn't need to enter that field. But Franklin Delano Roosevelt went to her first and said, I want you to be my labor secretary. And she was put under immense scrutiny for two reasons. You're a secretary that deals with jobs during the Great Depression. And number two, you're a woman. Why are you here? Her job first was not get workers back to work because of the Depression. It was, I need to explain to all these men in the room, I'm sorry, I need to do this because my mask keeps coming down. Apologies. Her job was explain why you're here. Well, I'm here because I was chosen as labor secretary to get people back to work. No, not that. You're a woman. Why are you here as a woman? This is a man's job. She proved to them, this isn't a man's job, this is the qualified person's job. And she got millions of Americans back to work under the New Deal and all of the programs she came up with, and FDR went through with. And finally, just finally, I'd like to focus down here. Julia Gillard, the first female prime minister of Australia. She was elected in 2010. It took until 2010 for Australia to elect a female prime minister. Australia was one of the more progressive nations that gave women the right to vote earlier on. She faced scrutiny for 3 reasons. She didn't have kids, which apparently even in 2010 to the Australian public was shock and chagrin. She didn't have a husband. Apparently, according to the Australian public, you need to have a husband to be a good woman. And number 3, she just chose she didn't want to believe in a God. Those were her attacks. And she got immense attacks, including from the leader of the opposition, who regularly stood next to signs that said, "Ditch the witch and ditch the bitch." And then all of a sudden, the leader of the opposition took this stand against misogyny, took this stand against sexism, and said it's this horrible thing that needs to go. Well, Julia Gillard, instead of welcoming that, stood up in Parliament, looked the leader of the opposition dead in the eyes and said, "I will not be lectured on misogyny and sexism by this man." She did that because she wasn't going to take political BS. And it's always been a reminder to me as a history nerd. While yes, we see old white men making the decisions, the movement didn't start because an old white man one day decided, "Hey, I think black people should have rights. Hey, I think gay people should be able to marry. Hey, I think women should have the right to vote." No. It's always been a woman, most likely, standing up there and saying, "Hey, you're our allies, we're struggling too. Let's get the damn job done." And I'm standing up here as a gay man today because, I could have not done this. But I recognize the one allies that we've always had since the very beginning to fight for our right to vote, or not vote, sorry about that one, right to marry, right to adopt, right to be who we are, has been women every single step of the way. And I'm not going to stop, and I hope all of you don't stop, because now especially and ever is never the time to stop fighting for your rights as a human being. Whether you're gay, whether you're black, whether you're a woman, whether you're an indigenous person, whether you're Asian, it does not matter. We are all humans. We all deserve the same rights and respect as anyone else on this planet. Because our founding document doesn't say that rights are delegated to one group of people. It says that everyone is equal under the Constitution and under the Declaration of Independence. And it goes all around the world. Thank you all.
Hello, people of Delaware County and surrounding areas. Good afternoon. Who here has already voted? Woo! Who here has not voted yet? You can still do it. We have time. Who here is not registered to vote? Yes! We have 2 days left within the state of Pennsylvania for people to register to vote. If you know anyone who is not registered to vote, Democrat or Republican, anyone in the state of Pennsylvania has 2 days to register to vote. I personally know who I'm voting for. I am sitting here in a pink hat. Most of you know who I am voting for. But voter suppression can be a problem for anyone. If you know anyone who has trouble getting registered to vote, anyone who has trouble with their ballot or needs help filling it out, anyone who needs help finding out their polling place or how to get to their polling place on election day, help them out. With the exception of those who are unable to vote because they are not 18 yet, everyone should vote. A vote that is not counted is a vote for Trump. People who don't vote are voting for Trump. Right now, if you vote third party for president, you are essentially voting for Trump. It looks like Pennsylvania will be Democratic this year. Woo! But 4 years ago, 538 said the same thing about a lot of places that ended up being voting for Trump. Just because we are predicted to come out on top doesn't mean it is going to happen without your vote. So vote, have your friends vote, have your family vote, ask everyone in your community if they need help, because some people need help and they are afraid to ask.
everyone has this right. We're talking about rights. We are women and men and others who have the right to vote for president, vice president, state representatives, and local government. All are important. So please, make sure you're registered. Make sure that you're registered properly at your current address, and make sure that your ballot will count and vote either by mail or on November 3rd. Thank you.
I love your shirt.
Thank you.
That's like honestly the main reason I wanted to get up here, is that people could see my shirt. My name is Regina Colantonio. I just moved back to Delaware County from Philadelphia, where the crowd is a lot like this. So I'm very excited to see people, and I'm also excited to cancel out the vote of someone who may be a Trump voter this time. I'm up here because I wanted to say that I have come to many marches with my sister, right there. We've gone to every other women's march together, and this time I brought my 2 young boys and my husband and my dad, and we brought my sister's girls as well. And I love how we all show up, and I would say maybe bring your family with you next time, because I told my kids this morning that this is really important to me, and I go do things for you that are important to you, so we're gonna all do this together. And I think it's important, obviously, for all of us, for our families to see us doing the work that matters to us, especially boys. So, and also let's arrest the cops who killed Breonna Taylor. Thank you.
All right, I just want to introduce myself as a 100% introvert, and I'm out here today. My name is Joy Washington. I am the chair of the Media Democrats, and I believe everybody has to have the right to vote. It's free. My ancestors fought and died for the right to vote. So everybody, young and old, you have to understand that voting changes stuff. It changes everything. You can get a racist fired. Yeah. When we vote, racists get fired. And I'm a little bit fired up because we have the biggest racist in the White House right now. We have to stop thinking that our votes do not matter, because they do. That's what racists understand, and that's how the biggest racist got elected. All right? So I want everybody to understand that you have the right to vote, and you need to use it, especially for these next, 16, 17 days? We're almost 2 weeks away from the end of voting. We have to stop thinking that Election Day is the only day to vote. I'm so glad that I was able to vote last Friday, and I dropped it off at the government center. And another thing about the government center here is that I think the early voting for mail-in votes, I think the last day to do that is,
27.
So, oh yeah, 10/27. On the 27th is the last day to do that. So if you want to vote before November 3rd, go to the government center, do your mail-in ballot process, and then you can do everything in one visit. So if you take anything away from this, please make sure you get your friends and family to vote, and make sure they're registered before, I think, Tuesday? Is it? Monday, yeah, make sure they're...
It's the last day.
Yes. Monday's the last day to register, so make sure you're registered, turn your friends and family out, and with these Trumpers, there are a lot here, actually, in media. They don't like to show themselves, but when they do, they will show out, and we have to show out much harder. So let's come out. Yeah. Once again, my name is Joy Washington. Please give me an email at mediadems@gmail.com if you want to say hi or whatever. Please let me know, all right? So let's keep this momentum going up until, November 4th, all right? Or November 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you so much, again. The amazing, diversity we got on this stage is incredible. I know a woman who should be able to enjoy Women's Day today, who's not, and that's the woman on that woman's shirt, Breonna Taylor. So I said this last week and I'm going to say it again. When you vote, vote for the people who cannot. Vote for Breonna Taylor.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. My name is Tori Monroe. I actually serve as the Community Outreach Director for DCYEA. So if you see me with my phone roaming around, I promise you I'm recording. I'm doing something productive. I just wanted to come up here and give a sort of non-partisan approach to this entire event. As women, as we all know, we have to not only meet the standards of others who aren't us, we have to go way above and beyond what we usually do just to get recognized. And as a person of color who's also a woman, not only do you have to reach the standards of others who aren't like you and go beyond that to get recognized, but go even beyond that just to get sometimes nothing.
Stay alive.
Right. So I just wanted to come up here and say, regardless of who you vote for, you have to fight for your people. You have to fight for women who don't have your voice. You have to fight for those who have a preference that's not the standard. You have to fight for those whose skin color is not the majority. You have to fight for those who may not have the full mental capacity to do what normal people can do. Not even normal, the standard. You have to fight for each and every single one, because every woman who's here today and everyone who's not, their lives matter, their voices matter. So I'm asking you, all of you here today, not only to vote, but if you see somebody, if you see a woman struggling, if you see somebody who might not be happy, who might need a little bit push, I'm asking you as women, as a community, to help them out. The most we can do, the least we can do as women is help each other out. Help our sisters who may not be where we are right now. Women fight for women. Please do so. Thank you.
Brings us to the end of our rally, and boy did we ever rally. Oh, really? Thank you so much for coming. Take your energy back to all your neighborhoods and your families, and let's make a better world is the bottom line. That's what we're trying to do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Came to rally. It was great. Kayla's got decades ahead of her to do wonderful things, and her friends are amazing. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for checking this out online. I'm so excited for this election. I'm so excited to see people come out and vote for women and vote for the people. Now make sure that you keep following the amazing Becky and us, Delaware County Youth Education Alliance, on our website at www.dcyea.net. Thank you guys so much.
You can vote for a man.